Welcome to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast, a show chocked full of strategies for scaling your speaking business. Now, here's your host, coach to the industry superstars, Jane Atkinson.
Well, welcome everyone to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. Today, we're talking about overcoming trauma, turning trauma into triumph. We have Jeremy, and I'm going to say his last name slowly because I want to get it correct, uh, Poincenot, as our special guest. Welcome, Jeremy. Did I get that right?
You did perfect, Jane. You did
Oh,
absolutely perfect. Well done.
there's a T on the end, people, but it's silent. So, Jeremy's dad is French, so that's how that all happened. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm quite honored to meet you and to talk to you because you have a very interesting story. I found out about it through our best video contest, so I was really excited to see your video and quite drawn in by your story. You talk about this story from the platform. It begins at age 19. Tell everybody what happened.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. I was your normal 19-year-old sophomore at San Diego State University. Everything was going great, and I noticed one day I had to squint to read a sign. And for me, that was abnormal. So I thought, like some of my friends, I needed glasses or contacts.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, over the next 2 months, I lost my central vision. And I squinted because I had no central vision in my right eye. And then 2 months later, I lost it in my left eye. And I went from perfect vision to 2 months later being legally blind with no central vision due to a rare genetic disorder I had no idea I had called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, or LHON.
Wow. And so you're 19 years old, you're at school, and this happens to you. And it's a hereditary condition, and you're the first one in your family to find out about it. What How did you respond? Did you step away from school for a while? And tell me a little bit about that moment in time for you. Were you absolutely terrified?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was the toughest challenge I ever had to face in my life by far. And it was around Thanksgiving time
Hmm.
here in the States. And I took incompletes from my 5 class schedule at San Diego State and just kind of had to deal with everything. And I call it my medical mystery tour, where I was misdiagnosed with several disorders at first. And
Oh,
I had a spinal tap done to drain fluids and run tests on those. And then a doctor said, I think you have this. And I had a catheter put in my hand for 5 days, and they
oh,
started pumping steroids into me and said, 5 days later, you're going to be fine. And I wasn't. And then I had a catheter put in my jugular for 10 days. And they would run something at a hospital every other day for a couple hours. And again, thought that would cure it, whatever they thought it was. And they were all misdiagnoses. And
oh my gosh.
yeah, and then finally, I was correctly diagnosed with LHON, and really because of my mom. My mom was doing research, and she was telling doctors, "This is what I think it is based on the research I was doing." This was all before ChatGPT and AI and stuff.
Oh
And
my
doctors,
goodness.
yeah, and I mean, like everybody listening can probably attest to, moms know what to do when their little cubs are going through things. My mom
Mhm.
rolled up her sleeves and went after it and was like, "This is what I think my son has based on what I've seen." And physicians are saying, "Ma'am, you're not a physician. I don't think you know." And she ended up being right. And yeah, it was really challenging. I really kind of had a plan. I kind of thought, okay, I'm gonna go to school. I'm a big golfer. I love golf, and I was like, I would like to get my international business degree at San Diego State. I would like to go on and work in the golf industry in some capacity. My parents met working in the golf industry. My dad worked in the golf industry for over 30 years
Okay.
as an engineer, and I was like, okay, this is the path I'd like to go towards, and that was the plan, and everything shifted then.
Yeah.
Um,
You saw your
I
whole future just like falling up. Well, you didn't see
Yeah, no, I did. I mean,
you
it's a good pun. I saw it kind
it,
of blur, right?
it
Yeah,
fell
absolutely,
apart in
big
front
time.
of your eyes.
Yeah.
And you have joked with me, by the way, about sight,
Oh yeah.
just so everybody knows who's listening in that we're okay. you're incredibly well adjusted at this moment in time. Okay, so how long ago was this?
This was 16 years ago. Yeah,
Six,
16 and a half years ago. And it
16
was
years ago.
Yeah, it was wild. So
So,
yeah, well, I went through all that, and I ended up coming back to school. I took that time off, and then one of my best friends called me, and he said, "Hey, if you come back and take two easy classes, I think I can help you and take those two classes in my 5 class schedule, and we'll do this together, and I'll help you through it." And I kind of
okay.
thought I thought I was going to drop out. I really wanted to, but
Yeah.
with his support, I kind of thought, why not give it a shot? And then if I want to drop out at any point, I still can. But he helped me out.
So you're sitting in class and you're legally blind. Are you able to see shapes? Are you able to see shadows? Like, tell me what that means for you.
Yeah, yeah, really good question. And it means a different thing for different people, right? Like legally blind kind of encompasses anybody who is not totally blind, but has a sight impairment to where they are legally blind. And in the States, that's what, we all know 20 over 20 is perfect vision.
Mm-hmm.
Worse than 20 over 200 uncorrected is legally blind.
Okay.
Um, and so that's where I am. But for me, I have no central vision. So I tell folks when I give a talk is I say, hey, put both of your hands one on top of the other and put them directly in front of your face and look
Uh-huh.
around a little bit. That's what my sight's like. I say my sight's similar to a donut. I have the donut part. I have complete peripheral vision. I have the top, the sides, the
Oh,
bottom.
okay.
I'm missing everything in the middle. If you
Okay.
meet me in person, you would not point me out and say, "Hey, that guy has a sight impairment." You would not
Okay.
know it. I kind of I have to tell you, or you have to kind of find out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm unable to. I say because of this, I'm unable to read without extreme technology or extreme magnification or assistive
Yes.
technology. I'm not
Yes.
able to drive, and I'm not able to distinguish faces.
And so when you're walking along in your life, are you in danger?
Thankfully, no, because with the complete peripheral vision, I'm very aware of my surroundings, but
Yeah.
I'm not able to see things really well in the sense of like if I'm going, let's say at an airport, if I'm traveling to a speaking
Yeah.
engagement, when I check in, I typically ask them for somebody to assist me, and airports have folks who assist people with disabilities to get where they
Okay.
need to go. So I can walk around to get to whatever counter I need to. And there's
Uh-huh.
been many times where I say, "Hey, I'm visually impaired. Is this the Delta counter?" And they say,
Yeah.
"No, this is Alaska." Okay, sorry. Where do I go to the Delta counter?
Yeah.
And that's fine. And then yeah, I'm not able to see what the gate numbers are, so someone assists me from the check-in counter to my
Okay.
gate, and yeah, I'm not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, that's part of your talk, which we'll get
Yeah.
to here shortly. Now, for folks listening at home, the reason that I am asking kind of pretty pointed questions about, and I want to find out about how you adjusted is because I've just gone through my own eye issue far, far less than, of course, being legally blind, but I had to fly back from Mexico. I was on vacation and have emergency surgery on a detached retina, and my macula also like came off. And so that's probably something you get, but maybe not most people. But so it was pretty serious. And it's not over yet for me. I was hoping that by now, when I talk to you, I would be kind of back to normal. And there's not going to be the same normal as before, is what I've heard from the surgeon. I have to have cataract surgery, and I will not get my vision back to where it once was. So, my question to you from that perspective is like, my husband and I both think that a year from now, it's going to be a non-issue, that I'll be
Yeah.
so used to it, so attuned. But every time I walk out the door now, I'm I'm aware. I have this constant awareness of the fact that I can't see properly,
Yeah.
especially at night. Because I need cataract surgery, I see globes around lights and stuff like that. So is there a moment where or over time, you're 16 years out from it now, where it became like less of a thing for you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, first off, I was saddened to hear that that happened to you. Second, when you say it's not, comparable, I think at the end of the day, it is because it affects you. Like if I can tell folks my story, and yeah, it's interesting and inspirational, but until something truly affects and impacts us, that's what's most meaningful, truthfully. Um, and so for me, yeah, there was a point when I first lost my sight, I thought I would never feel a sense of normalcy again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the stages of grief, the 5 stages of grief, are very real.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's denial. Then you go to anger. Then you go to bargaining. Then you go to depression. And then the fifth stage is acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go through trauma or you go through a difficult situation, I think it's hard to believe that there's acceptance down the road.
Yeah.
Um, but it is very real, and research says it takes on average 2 years to go from a traumatic experience to reaching acceptance.
Really?
Um, it can be less than that. I would say it took less than 2 years for me, but I know folks who've gone through the same situation that I did, and they're 10 years later, and they're still in the first 4 stages and haven't
Struggling.
reached acceptance. Yeah.
Right, right,
I think it
right.
depends on the person and kind of their mentality. Are they glass half full, glass half empty kind of person?
Yes, I've
That's a big
noticed
part of
that
it.
with senior citizens. My mom and all of my friends have moms in various situations at end of life, and they're all behaving differently depending on how they were before. Were they glass half full? My mom, I'm so fortunate, 96 with Alzheimer's, she's glass half full. And so I'm not getting an angry, I'm not seeing that yet. I mean, it could
Yeah.
change with Alzheimer's, you never know, but the way she was before is coming through, just,
Yeah.
that positivity and what have you.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
I'll share this too. When I first lost my sight and early in that sight loss journey, when I was finally at the verge of being diagnosed correctly,
mm,
I went and saw a doctor at UCLA, and he came to me and he said, Jeremy, in my 25 years of practice, I've met 5 people with LHON. That's how rare this is. It's one in
wow.
50,000 people have it. But he said, I can assume you have that. We're going to do the genetic testing, but let's assume you have that. And he said, you're going to be legally blind the rest of your life, but you can still live a good life. And he kind of left, and that was it. And I kind of had to absorb that. And my mom left the room and kind of ran after him and said, Hey, um, that's my son. He's not going to listen to me as much as he will you. Can you give him
Yeah.
a better pep talk than that, please?
Yeah.
And
Good.
he,
Good, Mama. Mama
yeah,
Bear.
yeah, Mama Bear did great. And he came back in. He said, Jeremy, look, let me tell you this. I see many people with different visual impairments. I've got folks who are totally blind that see me. I see folks who have 20/40 sight. He
Hmm.
said, I've got a guy who's totally blind, and he's like, he's one of the happiest people I've ever met. He always
Yes.
comes in, tells me all the fun adventures he's doing in his life, and the man
Yes.
can't see a thing. He said, I have another patient, another guy who is 20/40 sight. The guy can still drive, but all he complains about is what he's unable to see because it's not perfect. And he said, at the end of the day, it's a matter of perspective and perception. And Jeremy, you determine your happiness going forward. And I was like, that
Mm-hmm.
I needed that at that moment, but it didn't, flip a switch in that, hey, I'm going to be good tomorrow. But it was something I kept, I hearkened back to from time to time, and it was definitely helpful.
So, so, so helpful. And I know our listeners are going through stuff. They're having cancer diagnosis and heart attacks and strokes and things. They're having family, they're in the squeeze generation where they're caregiving for families and older and then also young kids. And I just know that our listeners can always use something that gives you a little bit of perspective to go, okay. And you were that for me. I
Mm.
said to you, is I know how ironic it is that I am actually postponing a recording session with you because of an issue with my eye. And we had a nice little joke about that back and forth on email because you have to laugh at some point. And when I looked at you and started doing my research on you, I thought, okay, Jane, just sit down. You and your problems, just sit down but I'm making my way through the stages. I'm,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
and,
making
and
my
that's
way.
okay. And that's okay. Another
Yeah.
thing I'll share with you too that was really helpful for me. This is something someone told me early on, and it hit me, and I tell folks this all the time. Is someone said, "Hey, you're allowed to visit the poor me house, but
Mm,
you aren't allowed to move in."
okay. That's really good.
Because I think we're so quick to be like, oh, I can't dwell on this. I can't be upset
Yeah.
about this. And like you said, all the things your listeners are going through, we're all going to go through challenges. And I think we have this idea that we need to get through it fast. And
Mm,
I want people to know that it's okay to visit the poor me house,
okay.
but it's not okay to move in. So it's okay to be in those first four stages. It's natural, it's normal. We can be depressed. We
Yeah.
just need to work our way to acceptance at
Through
some
it.
point. Yeah.
So part of your healing journey was somebody said to you, there's an association for blind golfers or something like that. How did it talk about that and how did that come to be?
Yeah, if you were to guess, you'd probably be right that it was Mama Bear who found it.
Okay.
In all the things she's done for me, she's kind of been the puppeteer and a lot, and she's also the one who got me into speaking. So we could dive into all that,
Oh,
but
yay, mama. I'm just
yeah.
so happy about her. Okay.
Yeah, she's incredible. So she came up to me and said, Jeremy, there's such thing as the USBGA, the United States Blind Golf Association, and said that there's golfers who play in tournaments all over the world. Well, she told me this when I first lost my sight, and I thought she was kidding.
Yeah.
And like all blind jokes, you never see them coming. That's the best part.
That's a good one.
So
But bum.
yeah, we got to keep that's what I want to do is I want to keep it light too. You know, we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about heavy stuff, but we got to keep it light too. But she told me about blind golf, told me there were tournaments all over the world, and I didn't want to do it at first. She had grandiose visions of me maybe doing cool things because of it at some point and thought like, oh, this is amazing. This is going to change my son's life and make him happier. And I didn't want to do it because I had an expectation level of how I could play when I could see, and I didn't want to really go out there and not be good. But
Yes.
I kind of had to digest that, absorb it, and think about it, and then finally went, you know what? I'll go to the driving range, Dad. I'll go to the driving range with you. And I said, if I miss a ball, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. And I didn't miss any. I hit some good ones. I could feel it. For me, I can somewhat see the ball down below me when I'm hitting.
Okay.
When I'm
Yeah.
looking slightly above it with the bottom of my peripheral vision, I can see the ball there. And
Okay.
then once I make contact, the ball's gone. But when you're a good golfer, you can feel if you hit a good golf shot. You can
Mm-hmm.
feel, okay, I hit that well. I think that's on line. And in blind golf, you have a guide. And for me, that's my dad. My dad's my guide in every competitive round of blind golf we play in. And he lines me up on every golf shot. We do it as a team. Blind golf is a team sport, and we've gotten to do some pretty amazing things together.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And anything to do with dads always gets me a little verklempt, ah. But
Mhm.
I just love that you guys have had that relationship. Okay, so you're maybe 20 at this point or 21 when you start out on this to get on the tour, I guess.
Mhm.
And the Masters is coming up this weekend, and my husband and I have been to the Masters. We're huge golf fans, so
Oh,
this is
likewise.
really
Good.
great. This is a really great timing for this conversation. So you get out there and you start to compete. And what was your first competition like?
Our first competition was in California, which is where I'm located, and it was an interesting experience because there was a lot of bickering back and forth between my dad and me.
Mm,
I like to say that I'm lucky in blind golf because I've got a scapegoat. I've got someone I can blame things on. Because if I hit a good shot, I'm the man, and
yeah.
if I hit a bad shot, it's my dad's fault.
And he's learning too what to
Yeah,
do,
of course.
right?
Oh,
I
big
mean,
time. Yeah, what
right?
we did, yeah, what we did 15 years ago, we don't do that now.
Right.
We've changed our approach and our strategy, how we go about things on the golf course. We've changed a lot. So yeah, he's learning his communication, how he says things to me during
Yes.
certain moments of a tournament. But the first tournament was a lot of bickering back and forth, but it was fun to be out there, feel the competitive juices, and then every time just finishing the round, just hugging my dad after and being like, I get to share this experience
Yeah.
with him. is something that each tournament I appreciate it even more than the one before, just knowing. And
Oh,
now I'm a father of two young boys. Just to realize that I get to share these experiences with my dad is something that I'll cherish forever.
forever, for sure. So communication became something really important. You needed help. So that started to become important to you. Um, even getting around and driving and things like that becomes something where you need to start asking people for help. So talk a little bit about how hard that was in the early days.
It was extremely hard being 19-year-old male in college to realize that I was gung-ho independent and I never wanted to ask anyone for help. I thought independence was the key to success.
Yes.
And when I lost my sight, I thought I was therefore going to be dependent on others the rest of my life. And I was extremely fearful of that. I didn't
Yes.
want to burden people. I didn't want people to think I was incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that come with the burden of feeling like you need to ask for help.
Uh-huh.
So I slowly regained my independence as a legally blind person, and I'm able to do many things just in different ways. But I realized I had to ask folks for help more to be able to be more efficient.
Yeah.
And so through that experience, I realized that not only was I becoming more independent as a legally blind person, but I got to see, pun intended, the power and the beauty and the value of interdependence. And
Mm-hmm.
that's being independent, but also being comfortable in asking others for help who are also independent, who can help you. I'm not dependent on others, and without them, I'm nothing. I'm independent and able to do things, but if I ask an independent individual for their assistance and support, we're able to do more than we could on our own.
That's so good. And that's become your theme of your presentations. Before we move down that road, tell me what is the thing that you're most proud of in your independence? Like what's the thing that you do that people were like, "Oh, really? You can do that?" Like what is there
Oh man,
something that you feel a lot of pride for?
yeah, I think what people have in their mental model or assumptions of what I am capable of, I
Hmm.
think I do far more than they would assume. I take my 3-year-old to and from preschool every day. I drop him off. I walk him there and I pick him up with a stroller while everyone else is driving their cars. Uh,
Okay. I
I'm
like
walking
that.
him there. Over 90% of my speaking engagements, I travel to them on my own.
Yeah,
Uh,
that blows my mind. That
Last year, I had the honor and opportunity to speak at MDRT's global conference in Macau, China, and I flew solo.
Oh my gosh. And so, just to give people who don't know about the $1 Million Round Table an idea, how many people would have been there when you spoke?
Yeah, and I know folks are thinking, well, how would he know, Jane? He can't see the difference if there was 60
Well,
or
they told
600.
you. They
Yeah, they
told you the
did tell me.
numbers.
Yeah, they did. I was told that there were 6,500 in the audience for that presentation.
6,500 people. So this is not a little stage, and you're in China, and oh my gosh, that is amazing. So you
Yeah.
traveled there on your own, and I like that you're telling me that there's accessibility, people to help with things. I think that's really lovely.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's go back to Mama Bear, who
Yep.
says after how long in golf, and let's wait. Before we move on, we have to list your accomplishments in golf. Talk about the wins,
Mm.
all of the trophies that you have.
Yeah, there's a world championship in blind golf that takes place every other year. My dad and I have won three of those.
Oh,
There's a national championship that takes place every year. My dad and I've won nine of those.
oh my gosh. So national champs, world champs, and you're competing against other people who are legally blind.
That's correct. Yeah.
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 Uh, Amazing. Is there anybody who is completely, what would be the term if you were completely sight impaired, no peripheral?
Yeah, totally blind. So there's three different sight categories. There's a B3 sight category. They have better sight than I do, but are still legally blind. I'm in the B2 sight category,
Okay.
worse than them, but not totally blind. And then
Okay.
those who are totally blind can't see a thing that you're referring to. They're called in this sight category, they're a B1.
Okay. So the B ones, they have their own category and they compete against each other that way. I've always wondered about that,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
There are some really good Canadians in all three
Are
sight
there?
categories. Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
so
yeah.
proud. That's
Yeah.
wonderful to hear. We do have some good golfers out on the circuit. Hopefully, they
Yeah.
show up for the Masters next week or this
Yeah.
week. Um, so okay, how far are you into this golf career when speaking becomes a thing?
Honestly, almost around the same time, but not in a professional sense.
Okay.
As you know, speaking doesn't really start, at least in my opinion, it doesn't start with a paid gig right away, at least yeah, for most people. But yeah, Mama Bear came to me and said, "Hey, if you can follow me on this one," she said, "Your little sister's best friend's older sister is a part of the Delta Gamma sorority." And I said, "Mom,
Ah.
I'm in a fraternity. I'm familiar with Delta Gammas." And she
Mm-hmm.
said, "Well, the Delta Gamma's national philanthropy is Service for Sight. They help folks who are blind and visually
Oh,
impaired." And I said, "Mom, I've done things with Delta Gamma to help with Service for Sight when I was in my fraternity and was fully sighted. I'm aware of this.
yes.
You're not breaking any news." And
Yes.
she said, "Well, I was at San Diego State, and this girl she was referring to was at UC San Diego. And she said, I spoke to her, and you're going to speak to their chapter in 3 weeks." And I
Okay.
said, "Wait, what?" And so the term voluntold, I learned about the term being voluntold for something, and my mom voluntold me to do that, and I
Yeah.
was petrified.
Yes.
And 3 weeks later, I stood in front of 100 women at UCSD in the Delta Gamma sorority, and I spoke for about 10 to 15 minutes and literally just vented about what I had gone through. Hey, I
Okay.
was fully sighted, and now I'm legally blind. I can't see this, and I was devastated and depressed, but I think I'm going to be okay. And I really don't think I had any learning lessons for them.
No,
And then we did a Q&A for like 30 minutes. And I was like, wow,
really.
that was pretty cool. And then it was just myself, my mom, and my dad who joined me. And we left and we went to dinner. And I said, that was one of the most therapeutic things I've done post sight loss. I loved that.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so selfishly, I was like, that was so nice. And more of the Q&A of like, I was so fearful of I'm going to be judged by these girls. They're going to think I'm, just, I'm damaged or whatever thoughts I had in my mind of what I would assume they would assume of me.
Right.
And they had very kind things to say to me. And I was just like, wow, I was not mentally prepared for that. And it boosted my spirits. And I said,
Oh,
I want to do that again. So I reached out to the Delta Gamma at my school and said, "Hey, I would love to speak to your chapter if you guys would be open to it."
yes.
And I did a week later, and then they also presented my family and me with a check because they did a fundraiser and they did it towards research for my disorder, and I didn't see that coming in more
Wow.
ways than one, and that kind of started the snowball of starting to speak to Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs, Lions clubs in the San Diego area, and just saying, "Wow, okay, this is really cool."
And I'm thinking you've done so much for LHON. Now, impact on your family. Let's not leave out some of the important details about that. This is hereditary.
Yeah.
Talk about who had the gene in your family and what happened.
Yeah, so it's passed down on the mother side. So my mom passed down to myself. I'm the oldest of three. I have a sister who's 3 years younger and a brother who's 6 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the first person in the family to be diagnosed. So once I was diagnosed, we could go up and down the maternal bloodline and know who carries this disorder. My mom's sister and brother know that they're living every day with the possibility of one day losing their sight.
Wow.
And I always said early on, I'm grateful it was me. I would rather it be me than anybody else in my family. I can deal with it. I wouldn't want to see anyone else in my family deal with this.
Right.
And 10 years after I lost my sight, my sister lost hers.
Mm.
And it was something where she noticed she had to squint. She noticed she had a central blur in one eye, and we kind of the whole family knew what that meant. And at the end of the day, she has to run her own marathon. I can
Hmm.
run alongside her, I can help her, but she has to run her own marathon. I got the medal, I've got the t-shirt, I've crossed the finish line in the sense that I have reached acceptance at this point.
Hmm.
But she has to go through those stages of grief. She needs to visit the poor me house. She needs to really go to therapy. I had to go to therapy. I saw a blind psychologist for a year and a half, and that helped me out tremendously. And she did therapy and did all these things. And I'm happy to say that she's kept her job, gotten promotions, gotten raises, and not only that, Jane, she got married to a Canadian. So everything's good.
Look at that. Winner,
Yeah,
winner, chicken dinner. I love
big time.
it. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. Well,
yeah.
and so is your mom in danger?
Yeah, my mom and my brother are in danger, and they know that. So it's kind of interesting. My brother and I have had late night conversations of kind of who had it worse. In that, like for a year and a half, I lived carefree in college, and then lost my sight midway through my sophomore year of college.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he went to UCLA and joined a fraternity, and he knows that he has to avoid certain toxins. Essentially, I was told I shouldn't drink alcohol, I shouldn't smoke or be around smoke. That could make the possibility of losing my sight more
Really?
make
Oh,
make it more of a possibility. So, it's kind of we avoid smoke of all kind.
mhm.
Yeah, things of that nature.
So the fraternity life may not be the normal fraternity life when you're trying to avoid alcohol and what have you.
Yeah, but I also say if alcohol was the main thing that caused me to lose my sight, I would have lost my sight first week freshman year of college, and I
Exactly,
didn't.
right?
But yeah, I ended up living in my fraternity house with that friend who invited me to come back to school.
Oh,
Post sight loss, didn't drink for that whole year, and lived in a fraternity house. That was they could make a movie about that experience. That was amazing.
that's very interesting. Okay, so fast forward now, you've been speaking and getting paid to speak for how long?
My first paid speaking engagement was 2013. So yeah, we've been doing this for 13 years.
2013. This is 2026. Like, holy cow. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I'm going to base your level of success and fees and what have you based on what I saw in your video that you're doing quite well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what would you attribute your success in speaking from? Obviously, your story is
Yeah.
phenomenal, but not, look at what you did on day one with
Yeah.
the sorority. Sometimes you just show up and kind of throw up and you don't really put it all into a thing. You have really probably adjusted and learned how to tell a good story by now. So,
Big time.
what would you attribute it to, your success?
Well, a couple things. I think there's a lot of parallels with golf, right? Like we talked about with my dad and me on the golf course is very
Mhm.
different now than it was 15 years ago. And same
Mhm.
thing with speaking. What I did then is very different than what I do now.
Yes.
A question for you. When did the Wealthy Speaker audiobook first come out?
The very first book that I wrote, I did an audio version of that, and that would have been, uh, I don't even know, like 1990 something.
But like on Audible, the Wealthy Speaker on Audible.
On
When
Audible, I'd have to look it up. I'm not very good with dates. Maybe
Okay,
the
so I
early
pro
teens or something.
yeah, because I probably
15
listened
years
to
ago.
that. Yeah, I probably listened to that in 2015.
Oh.
And that honestly opened my eyes, pun intended, for a blind guy to say it, that this could be a legitimate career path. And not only that, like
Oh,
I listened to it and was like, what do you mean? Like the numbers that were being said of like what people were getting as their fee.
you went, oh,
I was like, that does not compute for me right now, but wow, would that be amazing? And yeah, it made me think, okay, this could be a career path. And being visually impaired, it's something I could do for the rest of my life is be a speaker and go inspire folks and make an impact. And so that truly helped me realize that this was a potential career path for me. Yes, I got my first paying gig at 2013 in 2013, and it slowly grew from there. And Yeah, I might have even listened to the book in 2013 or
Well,
14. I
I
mean,
I'm pretty sure it was out by then, for
yeah,
sure, on Audible. As
I
soon
I
as Audible was
remember I
available.
remember walking around near my apartment with the headphones on and listening to the book
Oh,
and just being like, this is wow, this
that
does
makes
not
me
seem real.
so happy. I had no idea
Oh man.
that was your hit part of your history, and I love that it made you think maybe bigger. That
Yeah,
was
oh, big
something,
time.
yeah.
It,
I worked in Texas for 6 years, and Texas helped me think bigger.
it was very eye-opening and helpful. But I also want to answer your question. And what I think is what's helpful is I have a disability. I have an interesting and inspirational story. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought early on in my career that that's all I needed to be a quality speaker is just,
Mm-hmm.
oh, hey, I'm going to inspire you and I'm going to be overcoming adversity. And I think anybody with a disability out there who has a positive attitude and a good outlook on life could be a speaker and talk about overcoming adversity.
Yes.
But what can you do that differentiates you beyond that?
Yes.
And that's the conversation I needed to have, and that's the branding and the thought exercise I needed to have to be a different speaker in a good way.
Yes.
And so what I learned early on from a speaking coach was he said, Jeremy, audience members are all tuned into the same radio station, WIIFM.
Yes.
What's in it for me?
Yeah.
And it's true. And so when I'm speaking in MDRT's Global and there's 6,500 people out there, okay, yeah, that guy lost his sight and he's a blind golfer and a blind golf champion with his father. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I
How is it about me?
Yeah. So
Yes.
I dive into this idea of interdependence.
Yes, I
How
love
are
that.
you embracing interdependence in your life personally and professionally?
Yeah.
Are you, and what I created the C method, and I've listened to your podcast. I've heard folks on your podcast reference how every speaker has an acronym, and it's true. Uh, and so for me, I created the C method, a sight pun, but I think it makes it stickier and easier to remember. And I say that folks
Yes.
need to be able to seek help, they need to embrace help, and they need to be able to extend help. And if you can do those three things,
Mhm.
then you're truly able to embrace the power of interdependence in your life personally and professionally. And we dive more into that in the art of storytelling, and I take them on an emotional roller coaster. And if I can get someone crying and laughing hysterically in my presentation, then I've done a good job.
Ah, I love that so much because I have met people over the years who kind of relied on the achievement to get them the standing ovation.
Yeah,
And I still push them to do more.
yeah,
Like let's craft it. Let's give them something that they can really use and walk away with. I think interdependence is terrific.
thank
And
you.
it really makes you think about because all of us, and of course, this has become way, overly known to me lately when I couldn't drive. I couldn't drive until probably about 5 days ago, actually. Um, it, all of us have trouble asking for help.
Yeah,
Like that is just such a common men, women, I don't think it matters who you are. I think people really struggle with reaching out to somebody else. So seek, embrace, and extend. Tell me what your extend part of the conversation is about.
my dad. My dad extending help to support me and guide me on the golf course. He didn't have to
Mm,
do that.
yeah.
And I think, when it comes to extending help, I think it's the easiest of the three to do. It's easy to
Hmm.
extend help to others. Embracing
Yes.
help is hard. It's easy to just say, no, I'm good, thanks, I got this. And seeking help is the hardest.
It's
We don't want to ask for
impossible for
help.
some.
It's
Yeah.
extremely hard. But when we're able to extend help and offer to help those around us, and they take us up on it,
Yeah.
I think it leads to things that we would have never imagined.
Yeah. People feel good. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Well, this has been an eye-opening experience for me.
yeah. Well done. Good.
And I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your patience and waiting for me to get better before we recorded this. If people would like to, is there anything that you would like to plug, by the way? Do you have a book or anything that you want to talk about?
I don't. I need to, but I'm a perfectionist, and yeah, I have a lot of. I have a. I'll tell you this. I have a fund where I'm saving up money to do the best I can with a book, and I did the
Okay.
same thing to save up money for my demo video, and I just started a fund, and with every speaking engagement, I put money aside, and
I'm
when I hit a
in.
certain amount, that's when I reached out to Chris West.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the same thing for the book. I'm
Yeah.
putting money aside, and when I'm really ready and I'm ready to do it right, I will do that. But folks can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram, and I'm pretty easy to find there. I'd be happy to connect with anybody,
Beautiful.
message with anybody, and yeah, I'll be.
Okay, let's make sure we spell your last name. So Jeremy is Jeremy. Last name Poincenot.
That's a lot.
It's a tricky name to say, which is why I didn't say it the second time because I wasn't practiced.
Yeah,
But you say your last name,
points to know.
Poincenot.
You
Poincenot.
got it. Yeah,
Okay, with a French flair.
yeah,
Thank you so much for being here. I have loved getting to know you, and I'm super excited for your success in this speaking industry. I had no idea I had any part of it, and that you
for
listen to
sure.
the audio makes me think,
Absolutely.
oh, Jane, you really need to get the audio done of Wealthy Speaker 3.0. But I got to tell you, right now, with my eye the way it is, I'm not really into a lot of projects.
I
So
get it.
you're inspiring me to think, okay, there's a workaround here, Jane. And
Yeah.
I tried to do it with AI, and it just, they won't accept it at Audible anyway. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I will buy it. How, whatever form or fashion you put it out, I will
ah,
be your first purchaser.
you're so kind. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, for those of you who are listening in, I know you've taken some gold away from this conversation. Thank you to Jeremy, and thank you to you for listening. And with that, we're going to say bye for now, wealthy speakers.
Thanks for listening to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. If you need help scaling your speaking business, head over to speakerlauncher.com and chat with us.